Hey guys, this is Lori with Ellen's Crafty Creations, and I'm excited to share a new project and a new tutorial with you. This tutorial has been a long time coming. It's one that you guys said that you wanted a tutorial for. It's that simple one that I did. The original one was like photo play. It was a summer themed album. I forget what it was called now. Um, This one I created with Echo Park's Just Be You collection, which is this one right here, and it's super cute. I've done a journal with this collection, and then I had one pack left, so I decided to do this mini album. So you can get away with using one collection pack to create this album, but you will need to supplement with some coordinating cardstock, which you'll see that I did in my album as well. So here is the album. And again, someone asked if I had made these flowers that I had done on the spine of the other one. I did not. I actually purchased these flowers long ago. These are eyelet flowers, and I purchased them back in my hair bow making days. And I have a ton of them left, and I love them. So I put this teal kind of color. This is kind of like a coral pink color that matches this cardstock right here, and then an ivory one. And on the front cover, I just layered the design paper, and I actually had the coordinating paper that went with this collection in my stash, so I used that, and then I put this cut apart on the front because you know I like to keep it simple on the front because it just seems like if you put too many embellishments and everything that they tend to get ripped or torn when you put it on a shelf, so I don't like to do that on my albums. On the back cover, I did something a little different from the original. I did a pocket, and this is just a plain photo mat. I put the white paper here, but didn't put it here. And so you could journal on this, or you could actually put a photo. And so there is the back. I love this little flower design here. And I will give you the measurements for this pocket in case you want to add it to the back of yours as well. So on the inside, I made a few mistakes on this album, and so in order to cover those up, I added a couple of things. Um, And I also added a couple things just for fun. So one of those is the pockets on this belly band, and these hold little places to put 2x3 photos. So I have those, and then I did kind of a little photo strip here. And then I did a photo mat on the inside of the belly band. And then I added this pocket because I have another mistake on the other side, so I'll show you that in a second. But I added an acetate pocket, and I just put the extra cut aparts in there. There were quite a few in this collection. They're super cute, and I like how they look in this pocket right here. So, can you see my mistake? It's kind of obvious, I feel. So my binding didn't quite get centered. So there is like a 1/2 inch gap here and like a 3/8 of an inch gap here from my binding. So it goes from small to larger right here. And I wanted to kind of hide that because I didn't want it to be like the first thing you see when you open the book. So instead I added this acetate pocket, and I have a picture of my daughter right here. Just stuck in here to show you what a picture would look like right there. Super cute. But I did a little photo mat. I did a frame here and then added a photo mat. This you saw where you could tuck it behind there. And then this one's laid out just like the other one. So here's a flap. I used a cut apart on the front, and then I left it blank on the other side because this will fit a full 4x6 photo. And then you have this beautiful paper to put your photos on. And right here, inside all of the pages, I have covered the mats in paper. I cannot speak. I just can't think of the words today. So, and then I did these tabs using my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. It's not the punch board, it's the actual physical punch. Here I have a pocket, and I've just layered up some of the paper. I've added a sticker that I mounted on cardstock. I have another one of those cute little photo mats, and then this is a 3x4 and then a full-size one, and then the cactus paper. Oh, here's the other part where I made a mistake. So right here, I always ink on my pages, but I don't really mention it in my videos. So I inked all of my pages with Tim Holtz Black Soot Distress Ink. And I got a little bit of it on this page right here. So I just added this little tuck spot here to cover that up. So that was another one of my mistakes. I put a little sticker here and then some seam binding, and then here is, this one actually has a photo mat kind of built in, and you could tuck it right behind there. I'm sorry for my sniffling, I have allergies pretty bad. Here I did two different papers and I just butted them up against each other underneath the belly band and added a sticker here and a little sticker there for a stopper for your photo mat so it doesn't fall out of your book. And then this is a simple flap with a 4x6 cut apart on it. Here is the photo mat for that page. This one is just some layered papers with a cut apart, and it's plain on the top. It'll hold a 4x4 photo. Plenty of room for photos there. Another cute little pocket, small, medium, large photo mats. And then this photo mat also has, let's see, did I glue that? I glued this one all the way down. Right here you have another cut apart that this one actually comes out and is a booklet, so you could put several photos on here as well as photos in this space. We have a little small waterfall, and this is a magnet that holds this closed, and these just flip up like so. And here is this photo mat. I love that balloon paper. It's so cute. This is a larger flap. This holds a 4x6 photo, and then I just added a sticker and then some design paper. Same right here. I just didn't add the white photo. This one pulls out and is a booklet for 4x4 photos. And then here is, whoops, I did this one, and this one you can actually tuck your photo behind there on that one. This one has a stacked pocket. I'd added this sticker here and then this one right here and two journaling cards there as well as a larger photo mat up top. Here is a photo mat flap again. This is a sticker I matted on cardstock, just blank for your photo. And there's a photo mat. This one is another one. This one pulls out, have the bike with the bike paper. Super cute cut apart. Lots of room for photos. And then I couldn't decide what to put here, so I just left it blank with the stripes. I thought you could just journal here if you wanted to. And then I have one photo mat there, and then another one here, and this time I did add this little photo mat that I had left, this little scrap of paper. Why is it I get on camera and all of a sudden my allergies are worse than they have been all day? I loved this paper and I love this cut apart. So this is another booklet that comes out. And then here I did a little layout because I loved this little tassel sticker. So I've glued it just on this side and this side so you can tuck your photo underneath there. This one's kind of cropped a bit too much for this space, but you can see there where it kind of fits underneath there and underneath the camera. And that's it. Then you have the pocket on the back. So let's go through the tutorial. I'm not going to go through the how to do, I used just the regular hidden hinge binding system on this, and I do give you all the measurements down below for that, as well as the measurements for the chipboard and all the pages. So I always provide measurements in the description box of my videos, so make sure you check there. Copy and paste that to a Word document, print it out, whatever you need to do, and follow along with me. I use the hidden hinge binding system like I said, and I did, I used the regular one, not the plus, and I have 1/4 inch gussets in between here because there's 8 pages in here, which is quite a lot. Alright, now that that's done, let's get started. This is a really easy album. It goes together really quickly, and I think you're going to like it. It makes a really good sized gift. Let me figure out what I need first. So I've put together all of my pages except for one. Now I'm going to apologize ahead of time. All I had was black cardstock. I didn't have any craft cardstock, and I just felt like I needed to get this video out because it's been a while since I showed that album to you guys. So we're going to deal with the black, and I'm going to try to show you as close up as I can how I do everything so you can see it. Because I know sometimes it's kind of hard to see on the black when I'm doing the tutorials. So I've already put together 7 of my base pages. So I'm going to put together the 8th one with you guys. So that way you can see how they're done. What did I do with my bone folder? I thought I had, here it is, everything I needed. I'm going to be using my art glitter glue. Mine's kind of beat up because I use this stuff so much. This is my favorite glue. You can get it at countrycraftcreations.com. It's my favorite scrapbook store to shop at, but lately I've been so broke that I can't shop. So, but they have super fast shipping. It's the best store, craft store on the internet. All right, so we're going to start with our base pages. You need to cut 8 pieces at 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to score on the 8.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end, okay? And then you're going to cut also 8 pieces of 5.5 by 7.5, and you don't need any scoring on this. So you can get these 2 pieces out of 1 piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. So cut at the 5.5 first, and then do your 7.5 cut, and then 8.5 cut, okay? So that way you only use 8 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to fold on these score lines. I haven't been doing videos as much lately. I feel out of practice for some reason. I'm going to add my glue. And I like to glue one side and then the other. It's just my personal preference. And I don't know why I like to swirl my glue, but that's what I do. Okay. Now we have all of our base pages. So we're going to start with the first one. And the first one is a simple, on the front, you're going to do a 4 3/4 by 6 1/4 photo mat. You're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, and we're just going to fold on that score line. And I'm going to put my glue right here, and I'm going to attach it to the inside of the the base page pocket. I'll show you what I mean. So here's my pocket. I'm going to tuck this flap in here, and I'm going to center it on the page. Make sure you don't go over the score line, and sometimes I do that by folding it over, and that kind of makes sure I get it in the right place. So here is our flap. Okay, now you're going to turn this piece over, and on the back we're going to have a pocket. This pocket is cut to 3 inches by 6.5 inches. You're going to score on the 3 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And miter your corners. And fold on your score lines, and this pocket just goes right at the bottom of the page. Okay, I'm just going to line it up and stick it down right there at the bottom. And our first page is done. So now we're going to set this one aside and go to our second page. On the second page, there is nothing on the front of the design, no design on the front of the page. I told you I couldn't talk. So on the back, all you're going to have is a belly band. This one's cut to 1.5 inches by 6.5 inches. You're going to score on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. Fold on those score lines. And you're going to center this on the page. Now I just eyeball it and do it as I want to get it as in the middle as I possibly can. Okay, and that's it. So now we can set this page aside on top of the other one. So now you have the first page is the flap, the second page is the pocket, the third one here doesn't have anything, and the next one has a belly band. Okay, now on the next page we're going to have another flap. Yep. You're going to cut this one to the same 4 3/4 by 6 1/4, and you're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. And sorry, I'm just opening my book so I get my bearings on what I'm doing here. I am going to fold on that score line. I'm going to put glue on the inside of the hinge again, just like I did before. And I'm going to stick it on on this side, the right hand side this time, and I'm going to line it up in the middle and press it down. Now I got mine more at the top than the bottom, but that's what you get for eyeballing it. But it'll be okay. There's that page. And then so flip this one over, and then on the next one we're going to do a smaller flap at the top. This one's 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. You're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then fold on that score line. This time I'm going to put my glue on this side of the flap because I'm going to stick it directly on the top of the page, and I like to turn my page so I can get this even. And I'm just going to stick it right here, right at the top. So it's going to flip up like so. Alright, now this one's done. We're going to put this on the stack with the others, and we're going to grab our next page. So this one, I called it page 4. On the front, you're going to have another pocket just like we did before. This one's cut to 3 by 6 1/2. Score on the 3 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 6 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. Miter your corners and fold on the score lines. And again, we're doing exactly the same thing we did before. And we're just going to add our glue and stick it right down to the top or the bottom of the page, like so. Okay. Now the back of this is super easy. So now you're going to flip this over, and the back just has a booklet. So this booklet is cut to 6 1/4 by 8 1/2, and you're going to score on the 8 1/2 inch side at 4 1/4, and then you're going to fold it in half. And all I did was stick this right inside the pocket of the base page, like that. And now you can set this page aside. I'm going to grab our next one. This is rolling right along, right? Pretty fast. This one is a waterfall page. So let me get the waterfall pieces. Let me set this aside. We're going to assemble the waterfall first. So this one, I'm getting stuff all over my covering here. You're going to need what we're going to put the waterfall pieces on, the base is what I call it. This is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 and doesn't need any scoring. Then you're going to cut 4 waterfall flaps at 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and you're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch for each of those. And for our closure, you're going to cut one piece to 1 1/2 by 3 3/4, and you're going to score on the 3 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. So first what we're going to do is we're going to put our waterfall pieces on our base. So take each piece, fold on your score line, okay. Now I'm going to take my base, I'm going to add my glue to the top of the flap, the outside of the flap, and then I'm going to line it up on the at the top of the base piece. So you see how it's perfectly lined up with this base piece. And then I'm going to flip that up. So see where we have, for those of you who haven't done a waterfall before, see how we have this line here of where this one ends? So we're going to take our next one, we're going to add glue right here, and we're going to stick it down right underneath that and line it up with the hinge of this previous one, like so. Okay? So add your glue. And stick it right underneath. Make sure it lines up. Okay, we're just going to keep going. For all 4 of our waterfall pieces. I like doing the base piece because it just makes it much easier to make sure that all of your waterfall pieces are lined up. Otherwise, mine usually go crooked. Okay, here's our last one. All right. So here's our waterfall. Now for our closure, we're going to fold on both of these score lines. You should have a little tiny gusset right there. So I'm going to fold on the first score line, and then I'm going to fold on the next one, and I'll show you that it should then look like this with a little gusset. So I'm going to put glue on this piece only and not in between these score lines, okay? So I'm going to add my glue to the bottom or the inside of the flap, and then I'm going to line it up, and it's going to attach to the back of this base. Just don't go over your score lines. Okay. And then what you'll do is you'll put a magnet here and a magnet here, and that will keep your waterfall closed. Okay. Now we're not going to do anything with this right now because it's going to go, you're going to put your pattern paper on this piece and you're going to attach your waterfall right here like this. Okay. But that's when you start decorating the book. So now we're going to flip this over now that that's done and go to the next element, which is this flap, which measures 4 3/4 by 7 inches. You're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. And go ahead and fold on your score lines. And again, I'm going to add my glue to the inside of the flap. And I'm going to tuck this right inside this pocket of our base page. And I'm just going to line it up in the middle. It almost takes up the whole page, so it's not that difficult to line it up this time. Okay, so there's that flap. Now we're going to set this page aside. We're done with that. And grab our next one. Now, the front of this one has a little booklet. So this one is cut to 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and then you're going to score on the 8 1/2 inch side at 4 1/4. And then you're just going to fold that in half, and this booklet is going to slip in on the right side of this page like so. And you could center it or put it at the bottom or whatever you want to do. I think I had it at the bottom. That's it for that page. We're going to turn this over. And this one has double pockets. So you're going to cut two pieces to 3.5 by 6.5, and you're going to score on the 3.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end for each piece. And then you're going to miter your corners. To miter your corner, you just cut where the cross lines are for your score lines. Where your score lines cross is an easier way to say it, if I can get it out. Now, you're going to not fold these the same. This one you're going to fold all of your flaps in. Okay? The first one you fold all the flaps in. On the second one, you're only going to fold the side flaps in. And leave the other one like so. Okay? So I'm going to add glue to this one. And if I can stay on the page with my glue, and then I'm going to stick it down to on the bottom of the page like this. Okay. Now for the second one, you're going to put glue on just these two flaps. And you're going to use the bottom flap as a guide. So you're going to stick the bottom flap inside the bottom pocket up to the score line and then stick it down. Okay, and now we have a pocket here and a pocket here, just like that. And now you can set this page aside. For the next page, we are going to do a flap again. And this one, let me make sure I'm getting my flaps on the correct side of the page. This one is cut to 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. Score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. Fold on that score line. Open it up, put your glue on the inside of the hinge, and then you're going to stick it inside the base page pocket and center it. This time it's going to go on the right side. Okay. So now you're going to flip this one over. That's it for that page. And then on the back, you're going to cut another one of these booklets. This is going to be cut to 6 1/4 by 8 1/2, and you're going to score on the 8 1/2 inch side at 4 1/4. And you're just going to fold on that score line and stick the booklet inside the pocket. And then set this page aside. Now we're on our last page. See, I told you this one would go fast. This one, you're going to have a large pocket on the side here. So you're going to cut this pocket at 4 1/2 by 8 1/2. You're going to score on the 4 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 8 1/2 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. You're going to go ahead and miter your corners and fold on your score lines. And then add your glue. And stick it down. Okay. So it'll look like that with your opening on this side. So now you're going to turn this one over, and this one is just simply that smaller booklet cut to 4 1/4 by 6 1/2, and then score on the 6 1/2 inch side at 3 1/4. And then fold on that score line, and you have your little booklet that you will stick inside the page like so. And that is all of our pages. And then you just have fun decorating them. All right, so those are super simple. I'm also going to go over really quickly with you how to do, let's do the front cover belly band first. So you're going to take, you're going to cut a belly band at 3 1/4 by 9 inches, and then you're going to score on the 9-inch side at 1/2 inch on each end, and you're going to fold on your score lines. Okay. Then you're going to create 2 little pockets, and these are cut to 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and you're going to score on the 3 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch, and then on the 4 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. And we're going to do these just like we did the other stacked pockets. You miter the corners first. Fold on your score lines. Now this one you're going to fold on all 3. And this one you're only going to fold on 2. And then for the first one, you're going to add your glue to all 3 sides. And you're going to add your pocket to the bottom of the belly band. Like so. Okay. Alright, and then this one again, you're going to add your glue to the 2 sides. And you're going to stick this side in this pocket up to the score line, if I can get it in there, and stick it down. So remember, when you do these stacked pockets, that means that this pocket is a shorter pocket, and then this pocket is a longer one. Okay, it's going to go all the way down, and then this one only goes that far. So there is the belly band for your cover. You can either center it on the cover, or you can do as I did, and you can kind of skew it off to the side. That's I like that better because I find it easier to stick this in and out. Okay, so now we're going to do this acetate window pocket. So to do that, you're going to need 2 pieces. The first piece is going to be the base piece, and this one is cut to 5 3/4 by 7 inches, and you're going to score on the 5 3/4 inch side at 3/4 of an inch. You can see my score line there, and we're just going to fold on that score line. So this is the piece right here that will actually attach to your book, like so. Okay, so we're going to set that one aside, and we're going to focus on the acetate window. This is the pocket. It will be cut to 5 3/8 by 8 inches. Score on the 5 3/8 of an inch side at 1/2 inch on, at 1/2 inch, and then on the 8 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end. Go ahead and miter your corners. And you don't need to fold on your score lines quite yet, because what we're going to do is we're going to draw a border around this. And let me see, I think I did a 3/4 of an inch border. Yeah, that's what I usually like to do. So let's go ahead and do the side that doesn't have any score lines. So there's one side with no score lines. So you're just going to take your ruler. I'm going to put my glue up for a minute, because we're not going to be using it at the moment. I'm going to take my pencil and my ruler, and I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch in from the edge of the paper. This is the side with no score line, okay? And I'm going to draw a line just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it and I'm going to do this side. So I have 1/2 inch to account for here. So I need to do my line, I like to do it this way. So there's 1/2 inch and then 3/4 inch. I need to put my ruler right here at 1.25 inches, okay? So I'm going to measure 1.25 inches out from the rest of the sides and draw my line, okay? And now we have one more. Okay. So basically I have a 3/4 inch border all the way around after I fold in my hinge parts. So I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to take my little cutting mat and my craft knife, and I'm going to cut out this square that I just drew in. So I'm going to go ahead, and I don't like to use the ruler for this. I just like to eyeball it. If you like to be exactly precise, go ahead and use your ruler, but this is just the way I do it. I'm just cutting right on my pencil mark. Okay, I'm going to pop this piece out, and sometimes I get a little bit off and have to go in and fix it, but no big deal. Okay, done. So now we are going to take our acetate piece. Now this is a piece of like transparency film, acetate, whatever you want to call it. Mine's a bit dirty. This is cut to 4 1/4 by 6 1/2. So and I've already added my score tape around the edge. So you'll notice that when I lay it down, I have a little border around there. Okay. So you're going to lay it down on the side with the bumpy side of the score line, the raised side. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Kind of clean up some of my tape, and I'm going to stick it down. And I'm just going to go in and make sure that that tape is really adhered to the paper. Okay. Just like that. Now I'm going to go in and fold on all my score lines. So you'll see the pocket forming. Okay. There's our pocket. Now what you're going to do is you're going to add this to this piece. Make sure your pocket is on this side. So you're going to line it up. I want you to have a little gap right here between the score line and where the pocket begins. So make sure when you add your glue and you're lining up your pocket on this base piece that you line it up all the way to this edge, okay? So let's do that. So actually, yes, this is right. So this flat, remember, is going to attach to the book, so it needs to be this way where it's going to fold that way, okay? So I'm going to add my glue. Whoops, I'm getting glue everywhere that it's not supposed to be. I don't want to glue down my pocket. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to add it onto here. And again, I'm going to line it up to the edge of the paper, to the right edge, and then stick it down. There's glue on my fingers. I'm trying not to touch this transparency piece because once you get glue on it, it's really hard to get it off. Okay, so it should look like this. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there should be a little gap right here between the pocket and the score line. Okay? And then you have your pocket. And then on the back, this is where I cut out the paper frame and then put a photo mat inside. You can do whatever you want to on the back. So that concludes our tutorial, guys. There, I did add, well, I will tell you quickly before we wrap it up. So you're going to want to attach this to your book before you add this piece, okay? So make sure you're going to add it. And I added it right to, you can see, right to the edge before you get to your gusset, okay? Right up next to like where your chipboard ends and your gusset begins. That's where I added this. So you're going to put glue on this side and you're going to stick it down right here. And then you're going to put this pattern paper on and your belly band, or your belly band, then your pattern paper, to make sure everything gets covered, all right? And I didn't do a frame, like a complete frame around here. I just cut strips. So I did this strip, and then these two strips because I find it easier that way, and I think it looks just as good rather than trying to cut in a frame that fits exactly all the way around, like I did here. This one was easier because there's not already like a pre-built frame. Know what I mean? Does that make sense at all? Maybe not. That's the way my mind thinks. So that's all I have for you. I have, of course, like I said before, the measurement for the chipboard, the binding, even these, the measurement for these is down below. It's actually 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and you'll need to cut 8 of them if you want to do the inserts for the pages as well. So that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoy the tutorial. I hope that you make one of these albums, and I hope that you share it with me. You can check me out. I'm trying to get active on Instagram. I'm not very good at being active on social media because I don't know, I don't have time for it, and I'm just not a social butterfly, which is why I'm behind the camera all the time. I'm usually a kind of shy, quiet person, surprisingly. So I'm really trying. So anyway, my Instagram is LM's Crafty Creations. My Facebook page is the same. And come show me the albums that you create using my tutorials. I would love to see them. And if you have any questions, of course, I am there. And you can ask me anything you need to know. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.